Good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Invisible Condition. Thank you for being here. By the way, it's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we created this show for you, specifically for you, because we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that they have a voice, they have a community, and they are not alone. To that end, I have an amazing guest today, and already we've had so much fun this morning. For 30 years, Karin has dedicated herself to leading teams and building companies. She aims to empower individuals to reach their full potential. She obsesses with bridging the gap between well-being and innovation. And she is the co-founder of a really cool app that we're going to talk about later and that you're going to be able to get actually during the show. It's called EarKick. It's an AI-powered platform that measures and improves invisible conditions such as mental health. And it's really cool. I've been using it the last few days after I downloaded it. It is really cool. You guys are going to love it. So looking forward to you hearing about it and hearing from her, and she's amazing, and we're going to pull her, bring her on the screen here right now. Here we go. Oop, nope. There we go. There we go. Welcome to Live TV, everybody. You never know what's going to happen, right? Thank you so much for being here.
It's a great pleasure. And as you say, life is live.
Right? You just never know. Oh,
No.
Good times, right? So, by the way, Happy New Year. We're in 2024 already. I know it's at 2023. I feel like I blinked and it went. So, you co-founded an app, Karin, that is dedicated to helping people with mental health challenges, right? That kind of thing. What is the basis for that? Like, what was your passion that drove you to do something like that?
Well, it's very related to what drives you. You know, when we break a leg or when we get a cold, it's quite visible, hearable. You can see it that somebody's struggling. With mental health, it's a bit more difficult. By the time you see something and you actually have conviction that there's something wrong, that person is already way in the disorder, has been struggling. And, there's a good way to learn and to make this visible. All the things that lead up to a mental health disorder, they can be sensed and they can be made visible using technology. And why I wanted to do this, I got so frustrated. I saw all these people, relatives, friends, peers, colleagues fall into mental health disorder seemingly out of the blue, right? And you go like, why didn't I see the early signs? Why didn't I do
Yeah.
And the truth is, there are early signs. The body gives you cues. Your thoughts give you cues, but they're so subtle in the beginning that we can't tell them from everyday conditions. So when you have a headache, maybe it's just a headache because of the weather, but maybe it's also a symptom and the onset of a mental health issue. And to make this visible very early, you can use technology. We, for example, measure from the voice. You can record in our app. You can record your voice saying just a few things. You can record your video or type, and it will disclose a lot about where you stand in terms of mental health. It will also correlate it with data, environmental data, with your the way you've been sleeping, health data, and it gives you a very accurate assessment of where you stand right now. Why is this important? Because when you know where you're at and when you can detect early trends, you can prepare, you can react in a timely manner, right?
Yeah.
And the beauty of what we built is we not only tell you in real time where you're at, we also give you an immediate interaction. So there's a little panda in the app that will appear after you've basically been assessed and will validate what you said, how you're feeling, and give you very, very down to earth, very actionable suggestions, and give you agency over your current condition. So it'll give you suggestions what you can do right now. It's not going to serve you a whole book, but it's going to tell you, here, this is what you can do. And by the way, this and that is normal. And maybe you want to think about this and that. And by catching the problems early, the trends early, when they're still small and not so pronounced, still invisible, you can react in a very, very efficient way and have efficacy with what you do, with the small changes you do to your life. And you don't have to wait until things get really bad, until you really have to struggle and suffer, and until everyone else also gets it.
Right. And that's a huge point, because once you basically, once you've gone, like you said, once you start seeing the symptoms, and then it's progressed, sometimes past a point that you can really get the help that you need. So early detection is huge. That's amazing.
It's a huge advantage too, because if you can't make sense of what the body is telling you, and you feel consistently sad or not your real self, you may start drinking alcohol, you may start taking pills, you may start doing things that are not healthy for you. Yeah. And that then adds to the whole thing. And you may end up in a place where you never wanted to be, and where it gets very hard to get out of.
That's true. And and it's just kind of a spiraling effect at that point, right? Because now you're in the funk, right? And now you're beating yourself up because you didn't see it earlier, and now it's and it's everything's piling on. And so it's always better to catch it early and detect it and fix it and figure it out. And I forgive, but before we go too much further, I want to address the audience real quick, because I know there's people out there that are, especially, we're past the holidays, we're past, Thanksgiving is over, Christmas is over, that whole high of all that time of year and all the fun and or maybe not, I don't know, depends on who you are. But we're past that. We're starting a new year now. This would be the perfect time to get a handle on this and to figure out what's going on and to address things that need to be addressed, right? Everybody sets New Year's resolutions, in January. Let's make one that actually sticks. Let's do one that actually sticks. And so for everybody that's watching, I want you to jump on here in the next 45 minutes or so that we've got left of this episode. And you have the expert right here. That she's here to answer your questions and to help you. And so if you know somebody that needs this help, chime in on any of the social media platforms you may be watching on. Comment. She'll have contact information. We're going to put her website up, or a place, something like that. It'll be in the notes and things on the show, so that you can reach out to her, because that's important. So just want to get that out there. And actually, in the next segment, we're going to go a little bit more into the amazing features that are in the EarKick app, because that's going to be the most fun. This app is so incredible, and I'm so glad that I've gotten to use it before we got on the show, because it's so cool. But first, what challenges and setbacks did you actually overcome that said, hey, maybe I should do this, maybe I should develop this app?
That started very early. I was born into a multinational family. I was a musician in my first half of life, and I struggled with anxiety on many levels. My parents fought a lot. And when you're a kid and you hear that and you feel like it's your fault somehow,
Yeah.
And all I wished for was a little helper in my ear, or some voice that told me that all is going to be fine, And when I went on stage as a little kid, it's an eternity from, those first steps up on stage and until you reach the piano. It's an eternity, and it's so incredibly lonely. And again, I wished for a little voice, some sort of companionship, some sort of support. And I learned over time to deal with that stage fright. But I found myself in situations over and over again where I felt like I could do with some support, some in the moment support, not the big words, but the assistance and the companionship of someone or something that whispers to me or shows me a little hint,
Yeah.
breathe in, breathe out, or, don't listen to the criticism, or, hey, why don't you reframe this rather than being so negative? And it would have made such a difference in my life, not just for me, but also for others. Let's say, when I started leading teams and having people work for me, I wasn't always the most patient. I was not a good role model when it came to taking breaks or, taking vacations. And having that little voice or help telling me, hey, look, people are looking up to you and you should be going and doing the things that you want them to do. Or when you're about to say something emotional, when you should be composed and reflective, it's always the small things. And that ties back to what you said about the New Year's resolutions. It doesn't have to be the big thing. It needs to be something actionable, something small that you can stick to over a certain period of time. And when you have the opportunity to get reminded in a very lovely way, and you can see the progress that you make from the very beginning, then you can overcome huge challenges.
I love that. And it is kind of a fun way, I was telling you before the show, I got on here and I last night I was sitting there and it popped up a little reminder, and you can turn the notifications on or off or whatever, however you want to do it. But I had them on, and it popped a little notification. It said, hey, it's time to, we haven't seen you yet today. Maybe we should check in, it was very subtle and very, it wasn't like, hey, how come you haven't talked to me yet today? It was very subtle and very nice. And
like a good friend,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the little panda, the mascot, should be, like a good companion, nudging you, because it has your best interest in mind and wants you to stick to that checking in and journaling and reflecting and all the little things that make your mental health thrive.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure you've heard it all, just like I have heard it all with certain conditions and certain things, but there are misconceptions out there. I know, crazy. There are misconceptions out there about mental health, and how you can, how do you overcome them? How do you navigate those misconceptions, and how do you dispel them?
It's a very, very good question. First of all, we have to be aware that it's not them and us, the ones that are ill, in that dirty little corner, and us who are not ill. That doesn't exist. In mental health, we're all in the same spectrum, right? We move from our worst possible to our best possible, and we move in between. And that can change on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And knowing that we're all on that spectrum helps us remove that we against us, against the others, etc. We're all there, and we all have our very own spectrum, and we move in our own pace. And it makes you have not only compassion for yourself, but also for others. So we can't really compare ourselves. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I want to say is, you start by lending it words. Because mental health is not just invisible. very often we don't hear it either. And the minute you start verbalizing it, you put words to what you feel, and you create sentences about what's bugging you and what's in your head, or you put in words what you're afraid of. It becomes very humanized, and it becomes relatable, and it becomes shareable, and it's an invitation for others to support you, to tell you, hey, you're not alone, I have the same thing, or to give you hope, or to lend you a hand. And that's why the very first step also on the app is to start expressing yourself. Expressing yourself, whether it's via voice or video or you type, but get it out. Get it out of your head, get it off your chest, and make sure that you are putting it somewhere where you can go back later and have a look and learn from it, right? So that's the first step. And the misconceptions, they will continue to exist, but we needn't suffer from them. We needn't, believe them. And the more we communicate and make talking about mental health the new normal, fun and cool to talk about it, right? The more those misconceptions can fade, back, and hopefully at some point not matter anymore.
That's true. And that is a good point. And consistency, right? Keep doing it. Don't just do it and then do it a month later and do it a month later. It's kind of like writing in a journal, right? I mean, I did that for a solid year. Years ago, I filled probably 6 or 7 thick journals full because I wrote several pages a day. It was great. And now I look back at those and it is phenomenal. You look back and go, wow, that was a cool thing.
It's a treasure, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a treasure. Yeah. And the good thing is, you can also go back, because we tend to do things in patterns. So maybe you have a certain pattern that you want to, stop having, or you have a deja vu, and you can go back. I had a young lady call me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, remember when I was in that anxiety and panic struggle? And I was recording all of that. And then, I overcame it, and now it's been half a year, and I just revisited my recordings, and I was shocked. I was in such a bad place at that time, and I didn't even realize how much better I am now, and that it made me so grateful. And I asked her, so what did you learn from that? And she said, ideally I would journal every day. I know that. But sometimes, and I'm doing so well that I forget. But whenever life throws me a curveball, I know where to go. I know where to go and compare. I know where to go and see my growth. And that gives me hope and motivation that I can do it. Yeah. And if I was to say one sentence about what we want to create for everyone, whether they're struggling with mental health or they're fine, is we want them to have agency. We want them to be empowered and take things in their own hands and not have to wait until the world does it to them, or someone comes and tells them how they have to live their lives.
Yeah, that's true. So true. Oh my gosh. And I know we've talked so much about this app, and I know and I think this is a good spot to kind of have a break, and then when we come back, we are going to dive right into the app, and I'm going to put a QR code on the screen so that I know you've been listening to us talk about it. You're going to be able to get it here in just a minute. So stick around, and then we're going to have that QR code up the rest of the show. So stay there, and we will see you in just a couple of minutes.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, It's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hi, Eva Baca-Kearns here, and I am the host of One Punch Superstars, where we meet real people who chose to fight for their hopes and their dreams and become the champions of their destiny. You can find us on Achieve TV every Tuesday and Wednesday at noon Mountain Standard Time, right here on E360 TV.
All right, everybody. Boy, I tell you what, I just got to take a minute here and talk about a partner of ours that we absolutely love, and that is The Porch. And The Porch is a coffee space near Portland. It's actually near Portland. It's smack dab in the middle of Portland, Oregon. And it's awesome. We were just there about a month ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and met Brett and Molly, saw them again, and they run The Porch, and they are, it's a ministry, honestly. It's amazing. It's a space where people can show up and be seen. And it's not just, it's people that, it's people that really are kind of on the fringe of society sometimes, like they don't, sometimes overlooked by the community, right? And that is why it's so powerful to have a place. So the Porch is that place. And they're actually a nonprofit that seeks to provide training and opportunity to those people that have sometimes felt like they've been on the fringe of society and overlooked. And so, and coffee is that vessel, and they are doing such a phenomenal job of getting that out to the community, and they're being well received, and it's so cool. And by the way, the coffee is phenomenal. So if you like good coffee, this is the place for you. And by the way, you can get it anywhere in the country, anywhere in the U.S., you can have it shipped. I don't think they have international yet, but maybe they'll work on that later. But anywhere in the U.S., scan this QR code, go to this website. You can order it. I've got some back here that I've been chipping away at here. It's phenomenal coffee. You're going to love it, and you're going to love them. Their story is on the website as well. So everybody check it out, and can't wait to hear your stories about what you loved most about it. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna bring back our amazing guest. Thank you for sticking around and for being here with us. Thank you so much. This is cool. I am digging this app here. I'm gonna where's the QR code here? Let's see. There.
It's the pro version, huh?
There we go. Yeah, man. Well, see, and I wasn't sure what because I clicked on this QR code, and then it went to a thing, and then you just kind of download it from there. And so I said, okay, well, that's great. So yeah, this is actually, what'd you say? We're getting the pro version with this.
Yes.
This QR code.
Everyone who watches your show, that's the most important thing, and scans this QR code will get a free pro version. And the pro version has unlimited chats with the panda, has a lot of things that you would otherwise have to pay for. But also let me say that the basic version is all you need to manage and own your mental health. Just the pro version has some nice extra stuff. You can, for example, you can sync across devices. So if you want to have EarKick on your, on your computer, on your laptop, on your phone, on your iPad, you can do so. And there are a few nice things coming our way, and we keep adding features on a weekly basis. So the pro version, you'll have it all.
I love it. Yeah, it's always fun to get that little extra, that next step, so yep. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that for all the viewers, man. Everybody that sees this show live or record. I mean, if you see it live, great. If you catch it, later in the day or later in the week or whatever, this QR code will still go to the same place. So So don't worry if you didn't see it on the live show, you didn't miss out. It's okay. Come back and watch later. So EarKick uses something that I know some people are a little skittish about, and that's AI, right? Everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence. What do we do with it? Is it scary? Is it good? Is it bad? But you're using it for good, and it's awesome.
Yes.
Tell us how that's integrated in there.
Yes. So let me say that the most important thing about AI is to get going with it and understand it by doing something with it. Because I understand that it can be scary, and maybe some people are completely careless about it. But the best thing is to really get engaged with it.
Yeah.
Why we use AI is because we need some entity, something to make sense of all the data that goes into your phone via your voice, via a video or typing. So the first part of the AI can recognize not only what you speak, but also how you speak it. It can remember context. It basically, within seconds, when you speak into it, catches everything, right? And a human could probably not even do that. And so that's why we need that AI. Also, a human could not always be with you at any time. 3:00 in the morning when you wake up, you want to talk into the app, that's going to be difficult to have someone attend you at that time and be fully focused on you. So that's the first part. The second part of the AI is where it correlates your data, what you said, how you say it, etc., into sort of an engine. It makes sense of it. Then it auto detects your emotions. It records, into your own diary. It auto records everything, like what you said, how you said it, your feelings, your emotions, your symptoms, and also the reasons. So if you're talking about, I'm so sad because my boyfriend left me or something, it will understand that it's because of the boyfriend that you're feeling sad and that you're having a headache, right? And you don't have to go and write it all down. It's all there in the app only for you. And it will stay on the app and not go anywhere, right? So you can revisit anytime. And then there is another part of AI, which is called generative AI. You may know it from ChatGPT and, similar things, which means it, based on the data that has been collected and that has been, analyzed, the Panda or the AI will generate an answer. And why is this important? Because when I take the phone and I say, oh, today's been such a difficult day, everything went wrong, and I don't know, and I had such bad luck, and the weather is bad, and I just feel horrible. Yeah. Then sometimes all I need is somebody who validates my feeling and is nice to me. And so the Panda would, for example, say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way. It's those days happen. Have you thought about doing this? Have you tried taking a bath, or maybe you want to talk to a friend, or can I help you in some other way?" And that's also an AI that is speaking here. Now, what is the very special thing about being able to have a conversation with an AI? A lot of people, and especially young people, feel judged by other people. So if they go and open up to someone, they may get mocked at or laughed at or not taken seriously. So they prefer to be in a safe space where there is not a human, but an AI listening and answering, so that they can feel completely safe and not judged, right? And over time, they learn to express their feelings. They learn to be more, self-secure and have more agency in their own emotional health and emotional life. And then they may go out and talk to a therapist, or may go out and tell their parents or their peers. And they will know how to express themselves in a way that is, that gets them the attention they need. And so the AI comes in handy in all those places. And when we hear bad things about AI, then it's not the AI, it's the human behind it that has a bad intention, right? And since our app is completely private, it means you don't have to register, you don't have to log in, there's no questions asked, no personal data asked. You can just use it, and your data is yours and yours alone. It's not going to be taken away or sold. You're not going to get any ads. There are no strings attached to this. That's why you can really feel safe, and that's why there is no bad that could come from that.
Nice.
So again, this is AI for good. We took so much care. We tested millions of times to make sure it's all waterproof and that you can have your safe room, your safe space with the panda and have very intimate conversations that you don't have to worry about having people, listen in to, or, you can lock them. It's really, really safe. And maybe if you start, working with that kind of AI, you'll understand the benefits of it, and you'll feel more empowered to have an educated opinion about what role AI is supposed to play in your life. In any case, it should be a support. It should be helping you. It should not scare you, and it should not take something away from you, and it should for sure not be showing you any ads or any weird things.
That's actually a good point. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, I haven't seen any ads, and that's good, because that's what is the most annoying thing about ads, about apps and games and things that they say download it for free, but then you download it for free and then they just bombard you with the ads. Yeah. So.
Yeah, or worse, you know those apps where you go like, now I found something, and from the second you download it, they take things from you. They ask your age, how you're called, how your grandmother is called. They want to know what you eat, what you drink, where you live. And you go like, wait a second. You're asking me all these things and I'm not getting anything, right? So we try to first give you something, benefit, value, etc., and not come in and ask for everything, go out and go away. Yeah, that's not how our philosophy is at all. And the tens of thousands of people who have already downloaded and used EarKick, they have realized that it's different. And we get, messages every day from people that say, hey, it saved my life. And I feel safe. I feel like you guys really meant well with me. I've never felt so safe and heard and not judged like with EarKick.
I love that. And just to kind of bring it around a little bit to another angle here, I'm sure there was a couple things that you had in mind kind of when you designed it and said, man, it's really going to help with this and this, and we talk about invisible conditions all the time on this show, obviously. And what kind of invisible condition is it kind of designed to help with? Is it, I mean, you talked about mental health. Is there more, what else?
Well, anything that you'd like to change, where you have difficulties visualizing your progress, for example. We have people who actually have very good mental health. They're in a good place, but they want to keep that and they want a place where they can reflect and where they can start building good habits or maintaining good habits. And so we knew, in essence, all mental health issues have a behavioral component. Mm-hmm. And everything that you want to change in your life also has a behavioral component. We're not good at changing things from today to tomorrow. That's just not our nature, right? So we need some help making small steps and keeping them up. And if we don't see, outcomes quickly or soon in a timely manner, we will give up, right? Yeah. A good example is meditation or breath work. We all know it's good, right? But for meditation, it takes about 30 days to kick in, that so that you actually feel something, some progress. By that time, most people give up.
Yeah.
The same is with breath work. You know it's good for you, but you can't really feel immediately. So what EarKick does, for example, is you can connect it to your Apple Watch. And if you do one of those short breathing exercises, just a minute or two, you can actually watch your heart rate go down live. And so you're incentivized to keep going, because let's say your boss was mean to you and you're feeling the rage, you know, or you feel anxiety, and you do that exercise. You may not feel your heart rate go down, but you can see it go down. And by seeing it, you keep going. And hey, after 5 minutes, you know, you're ready to move on and not hold that anger or that anxiety. And there are many things that you can build bit by bit within the app. You can build healthy habits. It's all science-based and it's guided. So if you want to change, let's say, your sleep hygiene, you want to sleep better.
Yeah.
So you can go to the section with the goals, and you can set a goal. I want to sleep better. And it'll be broken down into small routines and tasks that you can have repetitions, and you can have little nudges. It's gamified. So you'll have a streak and you can check it off, and it's always kind of rewarding and giving you a good feeling. And over time, you will not need that anymore because it's become a habit. And even you pick the next habit. Maybe this time you want to deal with stress better. So you pick that goal, etc., etc. With many invisible conditions, I'm an asthmatic, for example. There are things that you will have to do for life. Like you have to have enough exercise, etc. So I need help to get me motivated. Yeah. I need the panda to kind of remind me, hey, you know, like you gotta go outside, or hey, get those 10,000 steps, you know, do them. And I could use all the help to make it fun for me. And with other conditions, I imagine with yours too, there are things that you actually have to watch. Mm-hmm. And where you need a companion that keeps you, you know, engaged and going with a little fun, you know. And that's what the app is good for too. And that's also part of the design. So you have the journaling part, you have the assessment part, you have the validation chat function, but you also have resources where you can learn to breathe. You have this goal section where you can establish micro routines. And most important, everything is tracked. And you can go back and see what happened last year, what about last month, etc. And one other thing that I want to mention is you get weekly reports. So let's say, you know, you had a week where things were a bit rough. EarKick gives you a report that only shows you the most important points. So it's not going to swamp you with all the data and everything that happened, just the relevant things. Maybe your sleep wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. Maybe you had a lot of anxiety, and it notices, hey, every Monday you have this, right? And you go like, oh, okay, maybe I should look at my schedule. Maybe it's because X, Y, Z, right? Yeah. And so over time, not only does the algorithm get to know you better, but you are alerted and you're nudged towards understanding yourself better and understanding your triggers and being able to change them over time. Yeah. So that's basically the design behind EarKick, is to help you become your best self and to own your mental health journey, your asthma journey, whatever journey you're on, and never feel like you don't have control.
Oh man, that's huge. Yeah. And that was a lot. And I'm so thankful that there is so much to this, because there's stuff in there that, like, I never would have thought that would have been like, oh yeah, that's a really cool feature, but I never would have thought to put that in there. So you you have done a phenomenal job putting this together and including so many cool things that I'm sure we couldn't get into if this was a 10-hour show. I'm sure we could we'd still have something to talk about. But we're going to go to one last break here, and then we're going to come back for the last 10, 15 minutes of the show, and we're going to talk about something that I love to talk about, and you've alluded to a couple times, and that's hope. Because that's, especially in this world, in this realm, that is huge. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we get back from the second break here. Everybody stick around. We're going to put that QR code back up there again for the rest of the show after we come back, and we'll see you just in a couple minutes.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stockham, and I'm host of Simply Sarah. Join me Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific on the Achieve TV network for the best energetic tools to elevate your amazing life right here on E360 TV.
Oof. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Oh man. This is so cool. I feel like I've just taken a sip from a fire hose from that last segment, because there was so much amazing information about the app. And I'm going to put this back up here, because we're going to just leave it up there for the rest of the show, because we want anybody that wants it to be able to get it, and start using it and using it consistently, right? That's the point. So,
or at least know where it is when things get rough.
Or at least, have it. I put it. You know what? I actually put mine. I put it right in the middle of the phone, so it's like right there. So I'm never going to have to search for it ever.
Right.
It's a perfect spot for it. So just with everything that you have been doing with this amazing app and all the work that you've been doing to improve the lives of so many people, how do you, on a daily basis, especially when the day's hard, how do you personally find hope?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. Hope is something that I actually never lost, even in very, very difficult times. But I had some help. And, as I told you, it doesn't need the big gestures or the big words. It's a lot about timing, like in music. Music only has so and so many notes. But if you hear at the right time, the right note, it can make all the difference. And hope for me was often sparked and ignited by some kind souls that just said the right thing in the right moment, or touched me in the right way, or were just there, as good companions. And we can give each other hope. Music is a great source of inspiration and also of hope, because if humans can make such beautiful sounds and sing so beautifully, there is hope. Another very, very good source of hope for me is nature. So when things are all wild and, I go out in the woods, I take a stroll, or I go into the cold water of the lake, and nature just, behaves like it's been waiting for you all your life.
Yeah.
And I take a lot of hope from that. Of course, I get bogged down when I see all the news and, there's climate crisis, there's mental health crisis, there's so much going on, there's war here and conflict there. And it helps me, at least, to talk about it. So if something is really on my heart, on my chest, again, I get it off. I speak to the panda, I speak to a friend, and it helps me get lighter. And then I grab the next opportunity of light, of like something beautiful. It can be a flower, it can be a child, it can be something somebody drew. And I just, I grab it with both my hands, and that's my piece of hope.
I love it. And I totally resonate with part of that. I mean, you and I are both, I've been a musician for decades myself. I love music, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Music has a way of just goes right to the core. I mean, you find the right piece of music, the right song, the right beat, the right whatever, and it just So yeah, I heard that and I was like, yes, totally. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So one other question that's related is, with all the challenges out there, all the things, yes, there's so many sources of hope out there, but with all the challenges you encounter on a daily basis, what are you thankful for?
Oh, so much. It's just being alive. It's not a given.
No.
I wasn't given that many years, because of my condition, and I've been quite aware of that life is a gift, and I'm grateful for life itself. I'm grateful that I am allowed to serve others. I'm allowed to pursue a purpose and be on a mission that I truly and deeply believe in. I'm more than grateful for a wonderful team, the EarKick team. I mean, those people are gold. I'm super grateful for my family, of course, for my co-founder, and basically for every soul out there that has written to us and given us feedback on the app. And it doesn't have to be great feedback. Oh, it's so great. No, just a voice from from out there. Again, we don't have the emails of people. We don't have the names. And so when someone from the other side of the world writes to you, man, that is amazing. That is the spark of hope, for all day, for all week. And I am so grateful for that, because it's full circle. It comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
I could go on and on for the things that I'm grateful for, and really, it lights up my life. And in my dark moments, the panda reminds me, because it has memory. It reminds me of all the good things that happen. And if I vent into it and I'm angry, then it says it's okay to be angry. Hey, remember last week, when you were doing that and that, and you go like, oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
I should be really grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that it's got that it keeps track, and that it, that it adds to everything it's doing based on the past interactions that it's had. So it just gets better and better every time you use it, which is the cool part. So
yeah, because I mean, there are lots of chatbots out there.
Yeah.
But chatbots just chat, right? They don't know you, and they don't remember you. And we want to be remembered. We want to be known for who we are, and we want the chat bot or whatever is out there to be just for us and interested in what we have to say and remembering what we have told him before, right? So that's why we designed it that way. And I think it's a very important point. We want to feel special, and that's how it's designed.
And I especially love it because I can only speak for myself, but people in my world, in the hydrocephalus world, with many, many brain surgeries, I've not had that many, but even one is a lot. So those of us that have had that experience and had memory challenges, like legit full scale, like memory loss sometimes, that's huge because you don't have to start over every time. It's already building on itself, and you can, and so that's one less thing that I have to keep track of. One less thing I have to remember. Yeah. Which is huge.
Correct. Yeah.
That.
It's like, the saying that our brain is not made for holding everything. It's made to have ideas and be creative, not to hold everything and store it in some compartments. And that's why we need to get things out. We need to create, we need to share, we need to do all these things because they're good for us. And then you have room for something new and for something fresh, right?
Totally. Well, and that, I mean, speaking of that, it's finals week right now. We've got 2 kids in high school and it's finals week. Okay. And it's like, how am I going to remember everything? And it's like, look, you're not necessarily in school to remember everything. Okay. You're in school to learn how to learn. Okay. That's what you're in school for. This K through 12 experience is to learn, and learn how to learn, because that's what you need for the rest of your life, not to memorize stuff. So give your brain a break and don't try to memorize everything.
Absolutely.
That's why these apps exist, for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for everything you learn, and also it applies to mental health. It's not about making mental health go away or making all the bad feelings go away. No, you want to have all the feelings. You want to feel all of them, all colors. Yeah. But what you want to is be able to manage them right and to enjoy life with everything that you have been given, right? So it's a very same thing. You learn in life, and you learn over time to manage your emotions and to enjoy them to a certain extent, and to know what to do when things don't work out.
Exactly. I love it. And I love this app, and I'm so excited to keep using it and to explore it and check it out. And maybe I'll show it to my kid. Maybe they could probably use it too. I'm sure they could. So,
yes.
But thank you for being here. This time went so fast, and we're already out of time, but I'm so grateful that we had the time, and that you were willing to be so gracious as to give the pro version of this app away, which is amazing. And so thank you so much for everything today. Thank you.
Thank you. Share everything and write to me. I answer every message.
I love it. That's even better. You're not just talking to a bot, right? You're going to answer all the messages. So
absolutely. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all of you.
Bring it on. Well, yeah, you heard her. So there it is. We'll have contact information. There's contact information attached to this, the show notes and stuff. So you have no excuse. You have to reach out. So thank you. I appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and we'll hopefully get to do this again. Thank you.
Great. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. I'm excited to talk to her after the show about the next show, because I think we should totally do that. But in the meantime, we are out of time for today. So thank you for being here. If you have an episode that you like, that you love, that you think would be beneficial and valuable to somebody else, please share it. Please share it on your social media. We're on multiple platforms, live streaming the show, and then it's there forever on that platform. So you can always go back and send it to somebody that you think needs to see it. And this one is no exception. So please join us on the next show. And until then, have an amazing day. And let's see if I can send us out of here with some style here. I got to find the right button. Every day is a learning curve, right? So have an amazing day, and we will see you next time.